Welcome, Internet. Gabari Games here. We're talking to you about our Wednesday night game with our Wednesday night recap number 14, I believe. So, last thing that had happened is we had all fought each other, and I told you about that. We've discovered that these stones that we found in these pouches had this ability to convey extreme emotion. A lot of us fell victim to rage. No one fell victim to grief or ecstasy, but we did have someone fall victim to terror. They had a radius too, and it was not a huge radius. So a couple of us throughout the battle were out of the radius and dealing with pretty much everyone else raging. So then we rested up for a little bit, did a nice short rest, went up the stairs to the final level. And there we heard some ghostly voice kind of monologuing a little bit. And there were a couple of skeleton warrior type creatures in there as well. We walked up, we heard him talking, and Soren tried to go up to him and say, "Friend, we mean you no harm. Let us talk and see if we can help each other." And Soren was promptly ignored. The ghostly figure went right after the skeletons. So include the rest of us in right then and there. Oh, hey, he doesn't hate us, he wants to get these skeletons. So the fight ensued against the skeletons. In this fight, Cooper was possessed by this dwarven ghost, and we continued to fight the ghosts or the skeletons. Gesh, in this process, really had picked out one of these skeletons and said, "No one else is hitting this thing. This thing's mine to kill." Everyone else was hitting this other one. It dropped. There were two more. Everyone else started going after the other one, except for a couple of us. A couple of us went over, and Soren got the final kill on Gesh's skeleton. He grew upset and really beat down the last and final skeleton, finally getting his kill. The ghost then left Cooper, apologized for having done so, and then proceeded to talk with us. And we found out that his name was Shackle Heckler, part of the Hecklers clan, and that is from the same hometown as Cooper, but many ages past. He's been down here for quite a while, and talked about not being able to go anywhere, not being able to be at rest because his bones were not at rest. At which point, our bag of holding was opened by Miguel, and he pulled out his skull and said, "Is this you? We can perform a ritual and put you at rest. We'll do it back at your hometown." Blah, blah, blah. Then we found out that the way out is actually through the wall that has interceded with this building ship thing that we are in. So we've been going up, and as we've gone further up, we've found that this wall has cut off part of the rooms in the back of it. And this time it looks a little different. I believe Anthony described it a little differently. And he tried hitting it with Cooper's Warhammer when he had still possessed him. I tried using my blind sense. We had talked about my blind sense in a previous game, kind of like it's Toph from Avatar: Last Airbender, sensing things to a certain distance. So I have 10 feet of that blind sense, and so I feel the reverberations of things. I tried putting my hand on it and knocking against it to feel the reverberations, and I felt absolutely nothing. When he hit it with his hammer, with Cooper's hammer, the hammer reverbed, but the wall did not. Gesh tried using his hand to do something with it, and a blue beam of light came out and tried to move it, I think, is what was happening. Could not do it. So we know that the way out is that way. We just don't know how to get there. This Shackle Heckler then informed us of another squid-like building. We had seen a whole bunch of shells and shell-type buildings and things like that, but this was the only squid-like one we had seen that turned out to be more of like a cuttlefish. So then he pointed us in the direction to as we walk out to our left of it. So we decided to start leaving and go that way. As we left the building, we noticed that he did not follow us. He is, for some reason, when he died, he is bound to that boat, that cuttlefish ship-like building. And he keeps repeating this process. That's another thing he did tell us. He gets to this point, starts trying to get through the wall, skeletons attack him, and he starts the process all over again. He's never made it past the skeletons. So I don't know what that means for him now. After these hundreds, possibly thousands of years, or however long he's been doing this, I don't know what that means for him now. We're not quite sure, but we're going to try and take his bones with us and put them at rest so he can have peace. But in order to do that, we got to get out, and that's our big concern now. Is really trying to figure out how to get out of here. So we're going to this other squid-like ship. It seems a little bit more active. There were a lot of more undead Grimlocks, the blind ones, but they were undead. So when we tried to see if we could distract it a little bit, they're constantly making this clicking sound, which I am convinced that it's kind of like how I talked about with my blind sense, except more of a sonar type thing. It's how they find things. Really hard to hide from something like that. So we ended up going into a battle with three of them. And then as we were doing that, entered into the battle, came three of them. They were right behind. A brain with a beak and several tendrils underneath it. I can't remember what the name was called, and I didn't write it down. I wish I had. I want to say it was a Grek or a Grick, something of that nature. A Grek or a Grick. I'll look it up, and it'll be the image of the video. Anyway, so we fought. We started killing them. Gesh released his lightning bolt breath, which made a huge noise and a lot of light. As we were starting to wind down this battle, we looked off to our right towards the ship and saw more of these zombie. Just called them. More of these zombie creatures coming towards us. So we've got to figure out. All right, we're going to go through a battle here, and we're either going to go through all of these things and find our way onto the ship, or we've got to figure it out. So we're about ready to go into more fighting or fleeing. we were told there was something that Shackle, Shackle Heckler feels there's something very powerful on that other one, on the other boat, squid boat. So I think we're gonna power through these zombies and make our way into there. Hopefully there is something in there that will either burrow through this wall or make a hole in it, or move it. We really just need to, at this point, make our way to the surface, and see if we can, can't start making our way back to Ostrov. I know Soren has some things to go through with Yama. He's got some talking to do with Yama, because when he last left, Soren was drinking and being stupid, and now another thing that happened was Gesh actually took off the headband of intellect and handed it back to Soren. Soren hasn't attuned to it yet. He hasn't put it on. He stowed it away, and he's trying to figure out if it's a crutch that he wants, or if he thinks that someone else could be better suited using it. So that's where we are right now, and I think a lot of people want to move on to the next stage of our adventure. They want to find either our way back to Ostrov and talk to Rudy and find out what they have figured out at the tower, or we want to follow Cooper to go bury these bones at the city where he lives. We're not sure yet. It hasn't even been part of the discussion at the table. That's just two paths that I can see us going once we get out of here. Anyway, so that's where we are, guys. Thanks for listening. I hope this is a more pleasant video than the other ones where the camera's shaking because it's attached to my fridge. That's how I've had to be recording. Now I'm over on the other side of the kitchen, and hopefully this works out a little bit better. Anyway, thanks for listening, and we'll talk to you guys soon. See ya.